Welcome back to another Sunday walk video. It is a hot, scorching day. Even with the overcast right now, it is 92 degrees. It is very, very, very hot. But still, I'm out here walking with you guys. And I'm super tired too because I actually went and exercised today. So I'll talk a little bit more about that if you're interested in hearing that. But of course, I'm here to talk about Bitcoin, what happened last week, and what I think is going to happen this week, and a few other little stuff. So as for last week, obviously it was dominated by a lot of economic stuff. We got economic news, FOMC meeting, rate cut, inflation, all that good stuff, right? So I feel like we're not quite over the hump, so to speak. Like in terms of all the economic uncertainty that I've been talking about for a long time, things have gotten better, but not everything's fixed, so it's almost like we're at the finish line, but we haven't crossed it yet. And that's kind of how it feels right now. Like even with the next Bitcoin pump that will bring us to the next level, we're just like not there yet, but we're so close. So what do I mean by this? Well, if you look at economic data, right, I think most of us agree a lot of the numbers are fudged. It is what it is, but with inflation numbers showing that inflation is coming down, prices are coming down, right, it should be a green light or signal to Powell to cut rates. And he is going to do so, but he gave some bad news by saying, okay, rather than 3 cuts or 2 cuts, it's going to be 1 cut now, right? So that kind of spooked people a little bit, because I think Wall Street expected that this year, the remaining of this year, is going to be absolutely enormous and everything's going to balloon up to the moon. U.S. markets actually haven't been doing that bad. All the indexes actually, near all-time high or close to it. So, but I think all Wall Street is expected more, that Powell's going to become super dovish and send everything again to the moon, right? So with his kind of like hawkish stance, like, okay, we're going to have one rate cut, that kind of set things back a little bit. And it's unfortunate that we saw Bitcoin dip because of it, because a lot of people on Wall Street still view Bitcoin as a risk-on asset, like a tech stock, and they just don't quite understand, right? And we're getting close to that rate cut. We thought maybe there's an off chance that it could have happened this month, but obviously it didn't. We're going to see next month, and maybe if it doesn't happen next month, then the next one is September. Now, the estimates are saying that it's going to be September, but who knows? The next one is end of July. And if all the fudge data shows that inflation continues to go down and the economy is slowing down, he's going to have to do that rate cut sooner than later, right? And I think he may be forced to revise that 1 cut to 2 cuts. So I don't think whatever he said is set in stone, okay? He's kind of just stuck between a rock and a hard place. And we know that inflation will never truly go away. Despite all the tightening or easing, whatever that he does, inflation is never going to go away, because we know the money printer never stops, and we will continue to keep borrowing money. And here's another thing too. Someone showed me this. Another reason, another huge incentive to cut rates is to actually help the debt situation, okay? And more specifically, the interest payments. So like, we're closing at 35 trillion in debt, closing in at 1 trillion in interest payments alone, and that's going to keep on going up. That's going to keep on going up. Not only that, they need to repay back some of the treasuries that are expiring, right? So I don't quite understand it. I think I do, but basically, if you cut the rates, right, it basically gives the ability for the government to borrow more and at the same time make whatever they need to pay less. Now again, I don't quite understand it, but that's how it works. I need to see why. Maybe because with the rates lower, that means, right? That means that people are more willing to borrow. That means the US has more money because now they can issue more bond. You know what? I'm not gonna try to guess on that. I'm glad to do more research, but that's another huge incentive why Powell needs to cut rates, because of that. Because the interest payment in 2025 is going to be enormous. I think for the first time in US history, it's going to be over 1 trillion. A lot. So, US will continue to need to borrow, continue to need to print, and that's why inflation will never truly go away. That's why only you see assets go up. They never come down really. Even during recession times now, you don't really see assets come down anymore. So this whole notion of stabilizing prices, price stability back to 2%, okay, let's say that happens. Are we gonna see cheaper cars again? Are we gonna see cheaper homes? Are we gonna see cheaper Bitcoin? No, that's the thing. It's like prices keep going up, they become entrenched and they just stay there. Like, you know, all this talk about bringing us down from 3% down to 2%, is that really going to change anything? The answer is no. So, anyway, so last week was dominated by that, obviously, right? Wall Street took it personal, and you know what, decided to sell off some Bitcoin, right? And we saw it with the ETFs too. ETFs last week were kind of brutal. 200-300 million sold off, but you know who didn't sell off? BlackRock. BlackRock kept everything. BlackRock is doing something, okay, and for better or for worse, different than everyone else. They're not letting Bitcoin inflow and outflow. They're only letting Bitcoin inflow, which means they're only buying, and they have taken up basically everything that Grayscale sold, and now they're taking up more from others. Larry Fink, seems to me, he wants to control Bitcoin. He wants to make sure that they accumulate as much as possible while things are still cheap. And you may be wondering, well, that doesn't make sense because the ETFs, you know, that's just like institutions or people that are buying, not BlackRock itself. That's not entirely true. BlackRock already, they have other funds that now they have IBIT in, ones that they have themselves and they control, and also they have their own treasury. I remember seeing the headline news before where they had their own stash of Bitcoin. So, you know, who knows what they really have. What I do know is this: Larry Fink, he's been talking about Bitcoin since 2017. Always said that he's fascinated by technology and he really loves Bitcoin. And he's been experimenting with it and studying it. And, you know, since 2017 to now, who knows? They've been buying up shares and percentages of all the miners, MicroStrategy, the exchanges like Coinbase. They own, like, they're a minority owner, but still they hold so much of the ecosystem already, and it would not surprise me that they're planning to just go all out and dominate the Bitcoin space, which will be good short term for price action, but it's horrible for long term. No one wants BlackRock to be controlling everything. Anyways, so I think this week could be different. I mean, we're holding at 66,000, a little bit lower than last week, obviously. When we were last Sunday walk video, I think we were at that 70,000, right? But you know, we could pump to that in no time. We've been going sideways for a while. Wall Street became fearful last week, but you know what? Wall Street is very reactionary. They could change their mind in an instant, and I think they're gonna do that. I think this week, again, I think we're gonna see a good recovery week. A lot of the charts, the metrics, signals all show that Bitcoin is on the verge of breaking out That has not changed. We've been sideways for 3 months, and I think we're going to see a recovery at the very least, and maybe we're going to see a little more than just a recovery, right? Like I said, it's like we're at like the finish line, but we haven't just like moved past it. We're just right there. I feel like that's how Bitcoin is. We got a ton of shorts piled up from 71,000 plus to 73,000. We just need a little push. Pushing past this finish line will liquidate those shorts and drive us to the next leg, which is anticipated around mid 80s, like 85, 86,000. And I really feel like that could come anytime. If it doesn't come this week, okay, no problem. We may go sideways and be choppy for another few months, but eventually we'll get out of it. Next month, it's been rumored that ETH ETFs come out. That could drive things higher. If we have a surprise cut next month, that could drive us higher. So we still have a few catalysts, and who knows what other surprises. Every day we're hearing about new companies putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet or holding IBIT or Bitcoin ETFs. Who knows if all of a sudden we get a surprise announcement from someone else, some other major company or individual, and say, hey, I'm going to start loading up on Bitcoin, right? So again, I am bullish for this week. Nothing changes. I don't think anything really changed. For people that I talked to a few people about Bitcoin this week. I don't think anyone's really, fearful about the market right now. It's just about having patience. Sometimes just let things come. You don't have to rush it. You don't have to outsmart it. Basically, like what I've been saying for the last few years, just HODL and DCA when you can, and that's it. And ignore it and go out for a walk, do whatever. Stop looking at the charts. Go watch the finals. Go watch IFC, and take your mind off of trying to always outsmart the market, because when you rush things, that's when you actually get hurt. So that's pretty much what I feel about Bitcoin. I did notice some of the alts that sold off last week starting to recover a little bit today. I don't know if that's a signal that a bigger push is coming later tonight or tomorrow. Could be. So that's very positive. Outside of this, what else is there? I did say some personal stuff, like last week I said, I went and climbed these stairs, which was brutal. This week I had a few people over last night. We were talking about, I used to be part of this basketball league, and nothing major, just a bunch of guys playing, all middle-aged guys, but like that's how I would ruin myself before. I got 2 major leg injuries because of playing basketball, right? One, I tore my ACL, had meniscus tear, and that knee still is not fully healed today. But because of me going on carnivore diet, it actually has gotten a lot better. So I want to test it. And my other leg, I tore my ACL, not ACL, my Achilles. So this is why I always say my 2 legs or my 2 knees suck. It's just, I've been through so much. It's all due to this stupid basketball, but I love it. That's why I have a basketball court in my house. Anyways, decided to go and played 3 games today. I thought there was a wolf behind me for a second. Played 3 games today. Okay, over there. Didn't get injured, but now I'm feeling it. My knees are aching. When I go up and down the steps in my home, they hurt. I took a couple of Advil, tried to chill for most of today, and now I'm walking again. So I'm probably gonna feel the pain tomorrow. But the good thing is, I think it's just general soreness. It's not pain, right? It's not re-injuring them, so that's good. I haven't really pushed my knees or my legs all that much for years now. So I'm gonna start doing more and see what happens. I think I'll take some classes too. Fitness classes, whatever. just get myself more into shape, drop the weight, get healthier while I can this summer. So yeah, so that's what I did. What else is there? ISC stuff. Now this is like rumorville. I don't know if this is gonna be true or not, but I'm just kind of tell you guys something that I'm trying to work on, but it's very, very unlikely that it's going to happen. But I did talk about how a lot of the presidential candidates, like Trump, RFK, they're like pro Bitcoin, right? RFK has been pro Bitcoin for a long time, pro crypto. Trump recently switched sides. So what I'm hearing is they're both going to be at the Bitcoin conference speaking later next month in Nashville, end of July. So if you want to hear either guy talk, that's the conference to go to. But rumorville is, at least during consensus when I was there, I met someone that said, hey, RFK has a guy on his team that would love to fight in karate combat. And I hear Trump also has someone, right? So I'm in touch with the main guys behind the Bitcoin conference, and they're the ones that are in touch with both campaigns. So I'm trying to see if I could set up like some kind of super fight at the conference, which would be amazing. Right place at right time, because they're both going to be there. They're trying to appeal to the crypto crowd. They're trying to grab as much attention. So how awesome would it be to have a Trump versus RFK fight there? Obviously, they're not going to be fighting themselves, but to have one of their team members represent, that would be crazy. Crazy. See, these are stuff that I'm working on behind the scenes, right? When I'm not thinking about crypto, what I'm thinking about is growing the IFC. So if I could pull that off somehow, it would be absolutely amazing. I think everyone would enjoy that. Huge bragging rights, and of course, everyone down at the conference would enjoy that. So just something else. But trying to wrap up a few other fighters, and then moving on to Singapore 2049 after that. But yeah, that's really it. I don't really have anything else to say. I'm just gonna try to finish this walk and not kill myself, because I'm tired and my knees are achy, and it's 90+ degrees outside right now. There's like no one on a trail besides like one person that passed by me at the beginning. There's no one out here, no one doing their walks today. And I can see why. It's just miserable outside right now. Plus all the cicadas, man, they need to go away. I hear they should be all gone in a couple weeks, so I'm hoping that's true. All right, guys, that's it. Smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow, usual time, 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right, have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.